Imagine this. You're standing on the deck of a luxury cruise ship at sunset, ocean breeze brushing against your face, the sky painted in gold, and a cocktail already sweating in your hand. The best part? Someone else is paying for it. Well, at least, that's what you hope to prove. Because this isn't just a holiday, it's an experiment. The question is simple: can you actually profit from an all-inclusive cruise? That's right, profit. As in, make more value than what you spent. And trust me, this goes way beyond free shrimp and souvenir keychains. Today, we're diving into the world of value hacking, where finance meets fun, and even a floating city in the sea becomes your personal money classroom. Let's raise the anchor. When people think of wealth, they usually imagine investment portfolios, property deals, or some sophisticated algorithm running deep in the stock market. But wealth starts with something much simpler: understanding value. And what better way to test your value instincts than by boarding a massive cruise ship that includes everything: food, drinks, entertainment, fitness classes, activities, your cabin, and even some late-night pizza at 2 a.m. Now, if you've ever looked up the price of an all-inclusive cruise, you'll know it's not cheap. Let's say it's $1,600 for 3 nights sailing from Barcelona to Marseille to Naples. Many people see that number and instantly declare, never. I could fly to Greece and rent an apartment for half that. True. But here's where financial curiosity kicks in. If you're getting $1,600 worth of value or more, then suddenly, it's not a cost. It's an opportunity. And so, our imaginary traveler, let's call him Luca from Milan, decides to challenge the concept. Can he win against the cruise company by consuming and experiencing more than what he paid? It's the financial version of a modern duel: Luca versus the mega cruise line. Value versus cost. On day 1, Luca boards the ship with a mindset sharper than a stock trader on Wall Street. He's not there for a nap. He's there on a mission. First stop, the buffet. Now, this isn't your average breakfast spread. We're talking towers of smoked salmon, an omelette station that looks like an art performance, and a dessert table longer than most European train platforms. Luca starts calculating silently. Smoked salmon breakfast at a nice restaurant in Milan would cost around $25. Maybe $30 with juice. Multiply by 3 days, that's $90 already. He hasn't even looked at lunch. Of course, by the end of day 1, Luca has eaten more than some people do in a week. Lunch, dinner, snacks, and those fancy mocktails by the pool. If every meal had been purchased on land, he'd easily cross $150. So, in theory, he's already earning back part of his cruise cost in value. But it's not just about food. A cruise is loaded with activities, and each one represents another line in the value spreadsheet. Rock climbing wall? That's a $30 experience at a sports park. Zip line across the ship deck? Maybe $50. Evening theater show with a full orchestra and dancers? Another $100 on land. One by one, Luca adds imaginary income to his mental balance sheet, watching his cruise ticket transform from a cost into a portfolio of memories. Now, let's pause. Because this isn't just a funny travel mission, it's a reflection of how we perceive money every day. Most people treat every expense as a loss. But sometimes, when an experience provides growth, relaxation, learning, or joy far exceeding the price, that expense becomes an investment in quality of life. Think about gym memberships, language courses, even that good coffee that gives you an extra spark during your workday. Money isn't just a number leaving your account, it's energy exchanged for experiences and possibilities. Luca's cruise experiment is a quirky example of that principle. He's practicing value consciousness, something every aspiring financially independent person needs. Back on the ship, Luca is starting to realize something deeper. Yes, he can calculate the value of the meals and activities. But there's another kind of profit happening quietly, a mental one. He's noticing how easy it is to fall for more is better. On the second day, as he tries to beat yesterday's buffet record, he doesn't feel victorious. He feels full. Painfully full. The lesson hits him like a dessert cart to the face. Chasing value isn't the same as enjoying it. He laughs, shifts his strategy, and decides to focus on experiences instead of consumption. He signs up for dance lessons, wins a trivia game, and starts conversations with passengers from France, Sweden, and Poland. He ends up learning stories about small business struggles, retirement hacks, and how one couple saved for years for this cruise instead of buying a new car. Real connections. Priceless, as they say in advertisements. It's in these moments that profit evolves from numbers to meaning. Money can buy comfort, yes. But value? Real value comes from what we extract emotionally and intellectually from the moments money creates. On the final day, something unexpected happens. The cruise offers a small onboard casino game night. Luca decides to enter the beginner poker table with his last cruise credits. No pressure, just curiosity. Against all odds, he doubles his amount. Now, in pure mathematical terms, he has officially profited. The $1,600 experience has yielded over $1,650 in retrieved value plus winnings, and perhaps something even more important, perspective. He's proven that with intelligent engagement, even a leisure activity can be financially stimulating. But he's also realized that not every win needs to be in currency. Sometimes the mental expansion alone is the real interest rate. Let's zoom out from the cruise for a moment. The same mindset applies to our everyday lives. When you think like a value investor, not just in stocks, but in life, every decision becomes strategic. Buying a slightly more expensive laptop that boosts your productivity, that's value. Spending time reading or developing a skill instead of scrolling your phone for 2 hours, massive value. The coffee that buys you a creative breakthrough, worth every cent. So the lesson isn't really about stuffing yourself with shrimp cocktails at sea. It's about training your brain to measure gain differently. Financial independence starts when you stop asking, what did this cost me? And start asking, what did this create for me? And yet, we shouldn't ignore the playful side. Because yes, it's fun to imagine yourself crunching numbers while eating lobster tails. Let's admit, there's something delightfully hilarious about outsmarting an all-inclusive buffet. It turns us all into undercover economists wearing flip-flops. The truth is, managing money shouldn't always feel like tax season. The most successful investors are often the most curious ones. They experiment. They look for patterns. They look for lessons in strange places, even on a cruise ship surrounded by unlimited dessert. Picture this comparison. Suppose you spend $1,600 on 3 nights under the stars at sea. Now, imagine you spend the same on a series of weekend trips across Europe with budget airlines and cheap hotels. Which one would truly make you feel enriched long after the trip ends? The answer depends on what kind of investor in life you are. If you extract growth, insight, satisfaction, and stories, you've gained profit no spreadsheet can measure. Another hidden financial truth: the best returns often come from experiences that expand who you are. That's long-term wealth in disguise. Emotional dividends, if you will. Around the end of Luca's cruise, he begins observing the other passengers again. Some are obsessed with getting their money's worth, others are simply relaxing. Ironically, many who chase value the hardest seem stressed, as if recreation has become another competition. But those who float through the experience calmly, open to unexpected joys, they're the ones who laugh hardest, sleep best, and connect more deeply. It's the ultimate paradox of financial and personal growth. The more desperate you are to win, the less you notice the real treasures around you. Peace, freedom, curiosity, gratitude, these are priceless. If you count only what's on the receipt, you miss the bigger picture that makes wealth meaningful. Let's connect this to something practical. In Europe today, where inflation trims daily budgets and people reevaluate what lifestyle comfort really means, the profit mindset needs refreshing. Yes, save smartly. Yes, invest wisely. But also, learn to identify non-monetary profit. For instance, suppose you take a course instead of scrolling social media all weekend. Monetary cost, maybe $75. Long-term value, potentially thousands, if that skill opens a door to a higher-paying role or a career pivot you'd otherwise never find. That's profit. The cruise story is simply an exaggerated playground to practice seeing that truth clearly. If we extend the metaphor, life itself is like a long cruise. You paid for a ticket, time, and existence. You've already boarded. The meals are days, the shows are memories, the onboard choices are your daily habits. You can either drift aimlessly, or treat each experience as an investment. Even the small moments, a conversation, a book, an act of kindness, pay compound interest in your happiness portfolio. But yes, let's return to Luca's experiment for one last time. He's packing up to disembark, his suitcase slightly heavier thanks to complimentary toiletries and a few too many desserts. But he's smiling. Because he realizes that profit was never truly measured in dollars eaten or drinks consumed. It was measured in awareness. Awareness of how easily we chase quantity over quality, how quickly we transform abundance into anxiety, and how simply shifting perspective can turn spending into empowerment. When people hear the phrase making your money work for you, they usually think of stocks, dividends, or passive income. But the secret first step is philosophical. Make your mind work for your money. Understand value intuitively. Question impulses. Redefine winning. And once that habit sets in, every financial decision becomes both strategic and joyful. So, can you profit from an all-inclusive cruise? The answer is yes, but not necessarily in the way you think. You can profit mentally, emotionally, even socially, if you treat money as a tool for learning and experience. You can't eat enough shrimp to make the cruise line cry, but you can learn enough about yourself to laugh all the way back to shore. And that's the point. Wealth is rarely about the size of your bank account alone, it's about your relationship with value. The numbers matter, yes. But meaning makes the math sustainable. So as you go about your financial journey, whether it's budgeting for your next holiday, planning your investments, or simply trying to improve your money mindset, remember this. Every dollar has potential energy. It can buy you consumption, or it can buy you growth. You choose the direction. One path fades quickly, the other compounds continuously. Before you log off, think of one expense this week that you initially viewed as a cost. Now, ask, was it actually an investment in my quality of life, health, knowledge, or happiness? If the answer is yes, you've already started profiting like Luca without even boarding the ship. Financial independence isn't only about earning more. It's about seeing differently. And when you begin to view life through the lens of true value, even a playful experiment like an all-inclusive cruise becomes a profound lesson in wealth and wisdom. This is Finance with Sonia, reminding you that profit isn't just about what you gain in your wallet, but what you grow in your mind. Spend smart, think sharper, live wide. And hey, if you ever find yourself on a cruise, save me a spot at the dessert table. I'll bring the calculator.
This journey is built on strategy, consistency, and value. If my content helps you grow financially, there's a PayPal link in the description. It's not about the amount, it's the support that counts. Every bit fuels more value. Let's build wealth together.